the main power lead, as you can see here, the pedal assist sensor, and the control cable from the handlebars. And here's the disconnected main motor lead. So make sure everything is disconnected before you remove the back rack, because otherwise you may strip down a cable. So I removed the 4 screws holding the back rack to the frame and the one at the mudguard. I stick with that back rack because it fits perfectly already and there are not even much changes to do, and I like it. The other good thing is that the taillight will fit, so put it here. So when we went through it the last time, I explained what is the plan, and if you know about aluminium, it's a very porous material. So if I would bend these edges in a 90-degree angle, and by the thickness of the material, it would be a radius from 1.5 millimeter. So as you imagine, when you bend the aluminium, it gets brittle. To avoid that, I plan to make a radius from about 5 millimeter around the edges. So this will avoid, when do the vibration, that it will not break on the sharp edges. And for realizing that, I will make a template. So I have a piece of wood here and I will round it 5 millimeter so that I get a smooth angle. And as you can see, I made a raw drawing how I plan to do it. So this is the side which mounts to the back rack. In front we have, let me show you. So it will be basically this piece of plate, is that one, and it folds around 2 times, means up and inside, or like it's supposed to be, that the main board from the controller is not hanging but being supported. And I don't know if I do it, but just for the possibility, I added additional material at both sides, so that I can make, maybe if I like later, an angle around here to give it a little bit more water protection, and here in the back, so that splash water can't move behind the controller. Yeah, so I go ahead. The thing is, when you bend 5 millimeter bend, you need more material. That means you need more than 13 centimeters. I have 2 possibilities. You can calculate it. Mostly it doesn't work that way because you are not able to bend it that exactly. So what I plan to do, I go from the inside to the outside. It means I will cut the rough shape around with an angle grinder and leave enough space at all sides so that if I have the bends, I can still have my clearances. I prepared the aluminium sheet, and normally I could cut it here, but I would like to look later if I maybe fold this one a little bit down, cut it like 1 centimeter and bend it outside, that when water falls down it moves away from the controller and not toward it. So now I go downstairs, grab my angle grinder, cut it rough, and after that I will use the metal sniper to make it hopefully nice. So, I cut out the rough shape. As you can see, there's everywhere still a little bit to cut. Now I go ahead at the other side. I need to deburr because, as you can see, here are metal debris which I have to remove so I don't cut myself and no one else get cut. So I go ahead and do that, then I see you. So the rough cut is finished. I go ahead with the sniper and cut it properly, and yeah, we see us. Clean up my mess and go. So I did the rough cut with the angle grinder. So now I use my metal snipers here to cut it out nicely. So when I fold the material, I not have a sharp edge, but a 90-degree curved angle. So I go ahead and make this round, and then we can start to fold. Now I have here my marks. At this moment I have to decide which side I put upwards, inwards and outwards. So I just go with this side. This is just a protective foil, so I think it doesn't matter that much. Same distance. Can't go in the edge because there's the radius, as you can see. Can even go a little bit outside. This is minor adjustments. I don't care for that at the moment. So I go ahead, bend this side, bend this side, bend this side. When we're lucky, I'm back when this box is folded. Thank you so much. Be back soon. So for the next fold, I cut the piece exactly to the size I need for the controller and for the suspension. So now I bend it in that direction, and I know at one point I have to remove this clamp, but this is just for the first indent in the metal. After that everything will go easy as long as it is precise. As you can see, there is still my 5 mm radius, so it will be hopefully nice. Okay, I bend it and then I'm back. At first I bend it a little bit, but now I need them nice and crisp. So I open this flap. I have a piece of wood, which is exactly the size with the radius. With the 4 holes in the base. I just put the box inside and mark the holes through the thread, so it was fairly easy to get it right, hopefully. Put it in for a test fit. Yeah, it should work out. So after I verified that the box fits under the tray, I yesterday played with some bolts and springs. As you can see, I used 4 mm bolts, 30 mm long. I put a nut upside down inside, not squeezed it, just for providing guidance for the spring. Put a spring under it and on top of it, and I tried it out. Push on the controller, as you can see. Suspended quite nicely. So I go to the hardware store and buy the hardware I need. Needs still some washer and a captive nut to fix it under the tray, under the case. And yeah, now I dismount it. Then I try if it fits inside the case and has enough clearance around it. Then I can finalize it. The good thing is I use the base plate the controller used before, and as you can see it's very nice in here, so I can use the plate as a template. Later I put it just on top, mark the holes, drill the holes, and they should align pretty good. So next step is to fit it inside, look if it fits, and then yeah, we go ahead. So mark the holes for the controller. Now you can see how it sits just inside. And now I dent the center, and then I can drill the holes. And after that I will clean up the box, make a final dry assembly, and well, then paint it. So next I had to do was to widen the holes in the base of the controller. I deburred them as well so they don't get trapped on the nutsets. And this is my suspension, so the controller metal lies on top here. So I marked the middle of the holes and fixed a piece of wood under it, so when I drill through the aluminium it will not hit like bottom out. So I have a little bit more control about the drilling, and after that I do it at the other side as well. Let's see. So after I drill the hole, I will deburr them from that side first, then I switch to the other side. Yeah, and I come back when all 4 holes are drilled. So, drilled the 4 holes. I drilled them oversized, 2 mm, so I can play with the distance when I adjust the place where it sits finally. So I have a little place to wiggle around. Should go in like that. Yeah, that looks good so far. It's a little stiff, but the adjustment will fit it. So now we put it inside, see how that fits. So I test it, and I think this is a very good working suspension for the controller. Not so happy about the gap I have on the top. I would have a little bit more. I would like that. But at the moment I think I have first to take care that this case still fits under the rack on the bicycle, because I had to manipulate it a little bit to have enough clearances all around. So go ahead, mount the case to the rack and the rack to the bike. See how it fits. I mounted the case to the back rack and everything looks good so far. It's nice suspended. You can see it moves freely. I have to do something about the cable management. So I had to see how it looks with the lights on, and it looks quite nice. And that brings me to the next task. So I ordered the lighting kit as one kit, and as you can see, I believe this should connect them all together, and the cable colors are only red and black and one pink one, and yeah, you can't really see how it gets connected together. So yeah, this will be annoying because I have to check every connection and make my own wiring diagram to make sure that when I connect it to power, it will not burn but work. I believe I start with the switch unit. I will open it. Then I see which cable connects to which switch and supposed to switch on which light. And then I go ahead and check the lamp, which cable from the three is the horn, which one is the lamp, which one is the ground. And have to do the same thing with the tail light. Yep. So I started the diagram. I put the main lights, the horn, signal left, signal right, and I check the cables here. As you can see, to the light switch there goes a red and a white cable. To the green, which is the horn, goes the yellow and the red, and to the signal lights there is a green going to the white signal, there is a black going to the left signal, and there is the red in the middle. So I think that the red one is plus, and the rest are my signals to the lights. So when we look at the other end, where's the JST connector, we see that one connector with a yellow plug has wired the signals from the signal light, so the green and the black one, and the other one is a 3-terminal connector, also JST. It has connected the red one, which is supposed to be plus, to the middle, and the white, which is the main light, to the left, and the yellow one to the other side, which is the horn. This is a funny story. Normally you would guess, okay, the black would be the ground, and you would have like one cable for the light and one for the horn. So you could put 48 volt on it and see what lights up or make a buzz, and then look what inside the taillight. So I look how the cable ran on the PCB, and I wrote the colors down, and I can confirm that because when I take the other side it makes sense. So S and S minus, blue and white, this one will be my main tail light. This one is the brake light. It's the black for the common ground, and the red cable for the one LED, and the last cable with the green and yellow one are the signal cable for the signal lights. So I invested further the front light, and the black cable goes to a terminal, I believe it says GND, and then there's the red one and the green one. Now that I know that this black one is the ground. So, I think I figured it out. So, let me put you through it. So, the white one. This one is plus minus going to the battery. So we have two wets coming out of here. One is going to the switch unit for the 3 switches and horn. These one are the signal wires from the signal lights. These are the main lights in the rear. So plus and minus goes to the minus terminal on the white one. So I think that's very plausible. And the brake is here. It is in the second row. So plus and these going to the lights. These are coming from the main supply. Then the switches and open or close the circuit, which is the brake light. Connected the normal brake lever at the moment. Later there will be the magnetic sensor. So I'm glad I figured it out. I have to go directly from the battery with the parallel to the light assembly. So this all has to go in there. So yesterday I finished the case and the rack. I sanded them and give it a lick of paint, and I think it looked gorgeous. You remember before it was quite scratched up. I think that looks great. And there's the controller case. So that's looking all well. Yesterday the battery from EM3 EV came in, so I can go ahead. This is a 52 volt battery. I went for the Samsung cells, the Q30, because they have a high discharge rate. I can pull 40 amps out of this battery, what is great. There's the home designed EM3 EV battery mount, and it ends at the XT90 connector. So now what we have to do, there's the controller, and in the old assembly I used the XT60 connector, which are fine, but I went for upgrading it to a XT90 just to be sure. That's the first solder joint. It joins the fuse with the inlet from the lighting. Put a heat shrink here, I will pull it over and then I wrap it. Then I go to the next one. Next I tint the plus and minus terminal together and put the heat shrink inside over both, so that will look neat later. And now I have to put this piece on, which seals it, and later it covers the connection. It's quite nice. It's a XT9050, XT90 feature. So go ahead, solder that together. and we should be good to go. So I have the XT90 connector on it. Looks okay. I had a problem. Some solder went into the groove from this fitting, and it was very hard to get it out. It even melted a little bit, but it looks okay. I may replace it later, but for this one it's okay. So here we have the power supply for the lighting. There's the fuse. Here's the other connector, so we put that together, mount the battery, and see if it explodes. Oh, it's nice. I have 3 solder joints there. I can still disconnect everything and mount it separately. Only this piece is in the bag already, and yeah, it works quite nice. So let's switch it on. It's on. So this is, so here we have light on, light off, left and right, left and right with light, on, and brake. There. Now I just have to throw it all on the bike, call it a day. So I double checked if everything worked, and I put labels on each connection so that I know for sure which goes which. For example, this is the brake switch, this is the switch for the main switch, this we don't need, this is signal lights, this is the brake light, see, brake light, this is the tail light, and the headlight. So now I soldered it together. As you can see here are my solder joints, 3. So this is good as well. And I switched the brake lever to the magnetic switch, connected it already and marked it the right way. Here you see BS is the brake switch. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. So next time we make the final assembly. I hope you all stay safe, and as always, see you soon.